Of course. Okay, we're live. Okay, y'all. Hey, so I have only a few minutes. And as you can see, let me see if I can turn my camera around. Oh, here we go. Um, I'm actually at this studio. I'm about to go to like a dance recital, my first ever dance recital. Super excited. Um, and I wanted to record this before I spend the rest of the day doing my dance recital, and it's probably going to take 10 minutes. But the reason came on today is because I'm here to warn you, share with you, reiterate with you, remind you, hopefully change your brain just a little bit again. Because a lot of you guys, I speak to you guys a lot, and many of you guys have published. This is for business authors. You guys have this dream of selling millions of copies of your book. You dream of your impact reaching millions around the world and it leading to, and I dream about it too, it reaching millions of people around the world, ultimately leading to, more podcasting, more speaking on stages, lighting a fire in your heart for the thing that you care so deeply about, right? And the mission that you're on every single day. And that's why I love being an entrepreneur. I love working with entrepreneurs because there's something so pure about it. And there's a reason why you wake up every day rather than just, clocking into a corporate 9 to 5 job is because you you manage a life of uncertainty because there is the possibility of impacting millions and millions. All right. So, here's what I want you to do and remember before your next book flops. Here's the problem I encounter a lot with you guys is that you guys are so focused on selling a million copies of your book that you aren't focusing on selling just one copy of your book. You guys are like so like imagining like, well, what is the book that is going to give mass appeal? That's going to change the game for everybody and make the world, a place of world peace, right? Without remembering that every single message, every single belief, every single person is impacted one person at a time. What does that mean for you? That the reason that many books really never get to take off is because they are written from a place of mass appeal. And so, therefore, mass appeal does not appeal to anyone. And books that are written for one person at a time actually are the books that take off. Why is that? Because what is most personal to us is actually the most universal. But we're all experiencing very similar situations. We're all experiencing shame. We're all experiencing embarrassment. We're all experiencing the same private want, which is to feel connected to each other and to feel validated and to feel happy. And we are all struggling with depression. We're all struggling with substances or whatever else we're trying to use to have that void filled within us. And when we try to write songs or write books or create movies that are like, like Transformers or like big blockbuster hits, yeah, they're fun. Yeah, they're great. But do they really impact people? Or do we really think more about the movie that we saw on like a Friday night randomly? We just picked it and we can't keep remembering it, or we can't stop remembering it because it it was about that one kid who one of my friends told me about this. He realized that he was bisexual when he watched this movie, when he saw this one guy and he had a relationship with this other man in a in a romantic way, and that lit a spark in him. So, I'm going to share something with you guys. Um I just want to kind of hopefully share with you, like, I'm here to sell you a belief. I'm here to help you see why it's so important to think about one person. And the reason I say this is because I love music, and um, the reason that one of my favorite artists, her name is she's a country artist. Her name is Miranda Lambert, and one I understand country music at all until I started dating a guy from this small town in Georgia. And I would go visit his parents in this very small town in Georgia in the North Georgia mountains. And they would talk about how everybody knew each other, and um they would talk about how it was a dry town and they grew up in a dry town. And Miranda Lambert talked the specificity is going to go way further in your book success than generalities. The Dixie Chicks are the Chicks, they're now called, are a band, and they specifically edit their songs to be as specific as possible because they know that what is most specific, what is most personal to us, is the most universal to us. All right. There is like a song that they have that says let's like think of one like, yeah, like, cowboy take me away. Cowboy take me away. She says that she's lying in a bed of it's like these blue flowers. And that visualization is what relates you to that song. Um and that level of visualization, that level of specificity needs to be reflected in your title, in your cover, in the content that you write, in the outline that you write for your book. Um, because the person who's going to be drawn to you, the book that you're writing, you're solving only one problem for one type of person. When you can solve that one problem for one type of person, that's when it starts radiating. That's when word of mouth starts. Hey, I just read this book by um, this author named Renee Dang. It's about harvesting rainwater for your homestead in 9 days or less. That's so specific. And because of that, Stacy starts telling Mary, Mary starts telling Angela, Angela starts telling Joy, and the word of mouth begins. If you want to sell 1,000,000 copies, I want you to think about how you want to start with one person and how it starts to radiate out. Like, you know how like the only analogy I can think of right now is like an atomic bomb. The atomic bomb drops and then it starts radiating out. Rich Dad Poor Dad didn't start with selling 1,000,000 copies all at once. It started with his books being in cardboard boxes in his garage. And he had to find one person that it would help. So that one person that was having experiencing one type of problem was a network marketer who was working for Amway. And she was a type of woman who was a stay-at-home mom who was looking to make extra income while spending time with her kids. And she was looking for a way to find financial freedom and independence, while also experiencing the thing that she loved, which was her family. And Rich Dad Poor Dad was the book that gave her that portal to network marketing, to think that network marketing could be her solution to her problem. And that's when it started radiating out. That's when it starts to say, when Angela starts getting results from Rich Dad Poor Dad, then Angela starts telling Mary. Mary starts getting results from Rich Dad Poor Dad. Mary starts telling Angela, or maybe I already used the word Angela. What I'm saying is, if you wanna sell 1,000,000 copies, I want you to focus on selling to one person first. I want you to just focus I want you to obsess over Angela's problem, obsess over, David's problem, obsess over why they still haven't been able to solve their problem, even though there is infinite content, even though there's AI, even though there's all the information we could still use in this world, even though there's so many books out there, there's free YouTube, free Instagram, all this free information, and they still are struggling with depression. They're still struggling with their law problems. They're still struggling with, um, they have health problems while running their small business. Why are they still struggling with this? Obsess over their problems. Obsess over that one person's one problem, which is, by the way, I'm going to pick on one of my students. She wrote a book that was meant to solve many different problems, chaos in general. What I wanted her to focus on actually was focusing on that one type of person, which was the midlife woman business owner who is basically a solopreneur whose business completely depends on her, and she falls ill to the point where she cannot no longer run her business. What then? What is the solution to that? That's the kind of book that she needed to write. And then think about how many women, myself included, my business right now depends entirely on me. And if I got sick, if I started having strokes and was diagnosed with ovarian cancer and all that stuff, I would not be able to run this business. I would need that book. I would see myself in that book, but I would not see myself in a book in general about chaos and the hardship in general. But I want the book that's going to talk to me specifically. So if you want to sell 1,000,000 copies of your book, you're not gonna until you do this. Obsess over one type of person with one type of problem. What is that problem? Define it extremely clearly. And in fact, if you can articulate their problem better than they can, they're going to be like, I can't even believe it. They're going to start gravitating towards you. They're going to see, you're their mirror. That mirror is the thing that prints money. Okay? And the thing that creates word of mouth, and it starts to spread like a wildfire. But do not think about selling 1,000,000 copies until you can successfully articulate the problem for one type of person. Write the book for that one person. Reverse engineer the solution for that one person's problem. And then when you drive traffic to it, it'll start radiating to it. Because again, anything times 0 is still 0. If your book doesn't make sense to your target market, driving traffic to it, driving Amazon ads, podcasts, Meta ads, whatever you have it will not sell. Anything times 0 is still 0. You need to have the book that you needed as a kid depressed in your middle school living room. That's why, nowadays we talk about like how amazing like the emo punk music movement was because it was the type of music that as a middle schooler like me, who had no idea how to articulate my feelings, and I was raised by Asian parents who were taught that emotions were bad. I never learned emotions or emotional language. And so that music was the music because I could relate to it because it gave me permission to be angry and to be upset and to feel like, yeah, like I kind of hate my parents right now because I can't relate to them at all. And that was why I loved that music and bought the music on what was it called? Like iTunes back in the day. Wanted to go to Vans Warped Tour so badly, but my Asian parents were like, do not go to Vans Warped Tour. They did not let me go to Vans Warped Tour. They barely even let me go to concerts. But what I'm saying is, be Blink-182, be My Chemical Romance for that middle school girl who can't articulate her problem, but you can do it better than she can. Um, And if you don't do this, I can tell you, your next book isn't gonna sell 1,000,000 copies. But if you can, you just might have a shot at selling 1,000 copies, which is gonna help you sell 10,000 copies, which is gonna help you sell 100,000 copies, which is going to help you sell 1,000,000 copies over the next 5 to 10 years. Hope that helps. I gotta go to dance. Bye.